Yo, so I gonna talk a little bit about a BPD episode that I had 2 days ago. Yeah. So like on Monday, I got this urgent call from a friend. They weren't doing too good, and I wasn't able to support them the way I wanted to. And I know that sounds really selfish because the type of support that they need is something that they needed to decide for themselves. Because they just get to, it's like they know what they're comfortable with, so they can tell you how to help sometimes. But yeah, and I wanted to be there for her in person so bad because I just wanted to make sure that she was okay. And I'm not like mad at her in any way. Like, this isn't like, I'm just trying to describe what I was going through mentally. And basically, I kind of just started splitting right after, because I think when other people experience mania, I get it very easily right after or even during their mania. And then it's just like I'm manic after that because I have BPD, and a part of that is like mirroring essentially the people around you. And yeah, so mirroring is basically like copying what they're doing, but not on purpose. It's kind of like it just happens. Like, you can't really control it. It's like an impulsive need. It's like the same feeling as when you stink bad and you really want to take a shower. Like, it's like you have to do it. Like, it's a weird compulsive need to do it. And so, yeah, I wasn't able to be there for her physically until, what was it? Last night. And it was good. It went really well. I was so glad to see that she was doing good, and she was just feeling good, and you could see it, you could tell. I mean, and there may be mania, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they're at least, being joyful. And I don't know. I know a lot of people probably think about this differently, and they're probably like, no, high mania is dangerous. Like, there's a lot of risky behaviors that people would engage into and stuff like that. But it's really, when you have BPD, it's like life is so complicated when it comes to managing your emotions that when you're doubting yourself, you have insecurities 24/7, you just feel shame and guilt for essentially things that you don't need to be feeling shame and guilt for. And yeah, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that happens. So when the good times come around, like the manic highs, unfortunately, I just feel like lucky to have them. Like, because it's like I'm experiencing so much joy, and it's just like overwhelmingly good and euphoric. And I have gotten to a point where I can manage my BPD mania and not engage in risky behaviors. I can take a step back and be like, okay, this is a BPD thought, therefore I'm not going to follow into that. I'm a very self-aware on a very self-aware part of the spectrum, if that makes sense. So yeah, glad I was able to finally be there for her, because honestly, when I was splitting, it was because I just, it was that moment where I couldn't be there for her, and I didn't know if she was okay, and all of my paranoia and my BPD started acting up because I started catastrophizing heavily and bombing her phone, and like, it honestly probably wasn't called for, but I did it anyway because I just really, really care about this person, and I was willing to drop anything and just like go check on them because they're important to me, and I don't want them to struggle or feel bad, I want to make sure they're okay. And yeah, the splitting was a lot of like arguing with myself. It's like half of my brain will start to think about a topic, and it'll be like, okay, I feel this way about it. And then the other side of my brain is like, no, I actually don't feel that way about that. I feel this completely opposite way about that. And so then both sides start to fight and have a inner dialogue within my head of me saying, is it good, is it bad, is it good, is it bad, is it good, is it bad, like, I don't know. And when I get like that, it's just like, it affects me so much that I'm like, I need to be alone, I need to be under the blankets and just in bed, because it is bothersome and annoying. It's a nuisance to, like, literally trying to focus on reality and your surroundings. So that's what happened. And then I got to call Monte Carlo, and we had a really good conversation. I actually helped out a lot. Yeah, my big thing is I like to be in contact with the people that I love when I'm feeling like that. So yeah, it was on fun with him. And then after that, I went and had a really long conversation with my mom, where she actually expressed some very vulnerable experiences with me that I would have never known otherwise, you know, unless, well, up until she told me. And so I just felt really glad that she felt comfortable sharing that with me, because for a long time I had this insecurity, because I have an older sister and then she's my only sibling, and they would just tell her everything. And it's unfortunate because it's like they, you know, like, it made her grow up too fast, because it's adult topics that she didn't really need to know about as a kid. And I was jealous of that, and I'm ashamed that I was, because now that I realize how harmful it was to her as well to be that person in our family, it's like I definitely, yeah, I was jealous, because I felt like they didn't trust me with information, and that they were trying to hide it all from me, because I was like the troublemaker. So it's like a lot of the stuff they would, well, I thought that they would talk about was probably just shit about me, and not like talking shit, but like just like, because I've, you know, it's like when you have a parent tell you that they're not, that they failed as a parent with you, it's like, it feels like shit. So, and that's why I thought they weren't telling me all these things. So for her to open up to me, it just felt really nice, because I'm not used to that. And I had this weird fucked up relationship for a little while, probably with everyone in the house, and that was my fault, because I was unmedicated and I was insane, like doing the craziest shit that was just so harmful, and like, not to anyone else, more so myself, but it really scared the shit out of my parents for a while. And it's really hard to come this clean about all this, but I don't know. My cat just screamed at me. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video because it's getting way too deep, and we'll see if I keep it on the internet.